Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the RacingBet preview, taking a look at the horse racing action at Flemington and Randwick on Saturday, July 17th. This episode this week is brought to you by WinnersBet.com.au, Australian owned and operated bookmaker. So if you are having a bet this weekend, make sure you check out WinnersBet.com.au. I'm your host, Tim Geers, joined by Trent Crebbin. We'll be taking you through all of our best bets for Randwick and Flemington. And it's going to be a wet one in Sydney. It was called off at Randwick last weekend, the final two races on the card, and we're going to have wet conditions once again. Trent, welcome to this week's show. Give us a rundown on what the Flemington card looks like and maybe how you expect the track to play.
Yeah, I think the Flemington card's actually really good for this time of year. I think there's a couple of races in particular that there's some very progressive horses that can run well into the spring. Track, I think, is a soft 6 at the moment. Look, generally plays pretty well. Flemington doesn't keep too much rain, so yeah, I think it should play fine. But yeah, it's a really good card actually. I found it quite simple. Well, not simple, but just a lot of races looked quite straightforward to me, where it looked like there was only one or two real winning chances. So that can normally go one of two ways, but I'm hoping that we're kind of on the money there and we can get a few winners.
I'm glad it looks simple to you because Randwick to me is the complete opposite. I had a look at the races last night at Randwick. I had to leave it, come back this morning, and it didn't get any simpler. A lot of really competitive races with, several last start winners and some deep fields. And if you are going to find a couple of winners, I think you'll be doing well on the weekend. It's a really tough card. I found it very hard to narrow in on my best bets, but we'll do our best. Hopefully, Trent, you're a little bit more confident and you can steer us into a couple of winners. We'll start off with our best bets. Trent, will kick off with you at Flemington, and this one pretty confident by the sounds of it. Race 6, number 8, De Graves is your best bet on the card at Flemington. And import, he was very well backed on his Australian debut and got the money.
Yeah, well, with him there as well, he's got some good overseas form behind the likes of Armory. Yeah, it was really well backed first up. This track and distance on a similar soft track as well. You see, everyone was there to see him just lay in quite badly at the end of the race there. He almost cost himself victory and had to survive a protest as well. I think if he runs straight there, he probably wins by 2 or 3 lengths. I think that experience that Will Price has on him is really going to help. I think that the key here is that he gets in so well at the weights. Only carries 52.5 after the claim. Looks like an import that can keep progressing really well. And I think he's going to contest much better races than this. So he looks very hard to beat down in the weights. The danger clearly looks to be Dice Roll, another import with the Nick Ryan camp. It was a bit sick last start. I wasn't alone in making him best bet of the day. He just ended up in front by default, and I don't think he appreciated leading at such a slow tempo. His work through the line once he got headed was good. So I think with a sit, he's going to bounce back to his old form, and it really does look a race in 2. I think you can back De Graves at around 270 or so, and then save or make a small result out of Dice Roll around that $4.40 quote. And look, I really think they'll probably run the Quinella, and I don't really think anything's going to be able to beat the two of them, but pretty keen on De Graves.
There you have it. Trent's best bet at Flemington, race 6, number 8, De Graves, currently $2.70 with winnersbet.com.au. We'll go over to Sydney at Randwick, and my best bet, as I said, I found it very hard to kind of narrow in on one, but I've made it race 5, number 4, Papal Warrior, Chris Waller and Karen McAvoy. This 4-year-old gelding's had back-to-back wins leading into this. He's won his last 2, and prior to that, he ran second in consecutive races as well. So he's clearly going very well. Slight concern today is the barrier draw for mine. He comes into barrier 8 of 11 at the moment after scratching. So he's going to have a slightly tricky map, but he just continues to show up and run well. Even going back 4 starts at Scone, he came from 11th and was beaten 0.06 lengths. After that, he was beaten 0.02 lengths at Warwick Farm. And as I said, he struck wet ground in his past 2 at Rose Hill, and he's won both really well. Going to strike a heavy track again today. He loves the wet, so that's the positive for him. And I just think he finds a race where he can win again. As I said, the only little query is that speed map, but in the form he's in, I'm sure he'll be right around the finish. So that's race 5, number 4, Papal Warrior, currently $3.90 with winnersbet.com.au. Trent, we'll move on to your best value bet of the day at Flemington, and this comes up in race 7 on the card, and you're with horse number 7, Fine Dane, currently $21 with WinnersBet. Very good first up record for this horse, 6 starts, 3 wins.
Yeah, and that's the time you want to be finding this horse, Fine Dane, first up. Yeah, look, it just looks a bit of a tough race, and I thought the favourite Dirty Thoughts was short enough at the 1,000 meters. Yeah, I like this horse, Fine Dane. First up last prep, he ran third at this track and distance to Sword of Mercy, who's since come out and run very well on some listed and group races. Before that, at 1,000 meters, he wasn't far off Bella Vella at Group 2 level as well, first up. So, yeah, look, you want to be on him when he's fresh. He comes into this, he loves the 1,000 meters. That's his pet distance, likes it down the straight, draws out, which is generally advantageous at Flemington. I think he's going to be in this for a long way. And I think he gets in quite well at the weights with 57 kilos as well. So at around $21, I could make a case for him each way, an open race. But yeah, Fine Dane for me in the 7th.
Okay, and over at Randwick, I'm going to make my best value bet on the card in the lucky last. And this is a last start winner, which we also backed on that occasion. This is race number 10, horse number 8, Our Bellagio Miss, currently $6.50. She's returned in super form, this mare, and the key to her is the fact that she's an absolute mudlark, just loves the wet ground. I think she's had 6 starts on good tracks for just 1 minor placing, and she's had 13 starts on rain-affected ground for 5 wins and 4 placings, I think. So she's clearly a mare that loves the wet, and that's what she's going to find once again here. First up behind a horse Trent Malkovich, who then went to Melbourne and won. He then ran second last weekend. On that occasion, first up, she sat 3 wide the trip and was beaten 2 lengths. She then came out at her next start, swooped home over the top. It was a really strong effort at Rosehill over 1,100 metres. That was a midway benchmark 72, so she does step up in class a little bit here, taking on the horses from the bigger stables, but she won over this track and distance, third up last preparation. She's going to get conditions to suit. Tommy Berry sticks with her. With any luck from Barry 12, I think she'll be right in the finish here. I'll be backing her each way, currently $6.50, as I said, and better than even money on the place line. So I'll make her my best value bet of the day. Race 10, number 8, Our Bellagio Miss. Trent, anything else? You mentioned you were very confident on the Flemington card. Anything else that you want to throw out there on this week's preview show?
Race 2 is a really good race. And that is also the race that we're doing our hat competition for this week. So I'll let you quickly touch on that in a sec. But race 2 is a really good 3-year-old race. Keen on either Tuvalu or Iron Thunderstruck to be winning, kind of dutching those 2 up.
Yeah, so head on over to the RacingBet Twitter page, and there's a free hat up for grabs. It was a dead heat last week's competition, and another bloke only narrowly missed out by about 0.2 lengths. So what you need to do is it's nearest the pin, tip us the winner and the winning margin, and whoever goes closest with their winning prediction will land themselves a RacingBet hat. We'll get it posted to you. So just head to the RacingBet Twitter page and you'll find all the details for that one there. Race 2 at Flemington is the race we're looking at. Good little race, as you said, Trent. We'll also be covering Belmont on Saturday, and unfortunately the Hong Kong racing season's over for now, so we'll be left twiddling our thumbs for the next few Sundays while it's the off season there, but I'm sure the boys will have plenty of winners around the country for you. Billy's flying. You've nailed a winner at Geelong today, Trent, and your other selection ran second, so team's going well, and you can find it all on racingbet.com.au. Okay, that'll do us for this week. Thanks to WinnersBet for sponsoring this week's episode. And we'll be back to preview next Saturday's races, same time next week.